Well, hi everyone. Welcome to the August 2026 edition of Poetry Superhighway Live. My name is Rick Lupert. I'm your host for this afternoon of poetry. Glad that you are here with us to participate in the open reading, or perhaps you're just here to receive the poetry. That's great as well. It's been a little while since we had an open reading. Last month we had the special annual conversation that we have with our poetry contest judges. Our contest has been off and running for a while now. I think we're about two-thirds of the way through it. There's somewhere between 500 and 600 poetry contest entries so far. Our poetry contest judges are their poetry reading eyes are tired, I believe. But the contest continues. I think there's 5 weeks left to enter. If you're interested, you can visit the Poetry Superhighway website. It's a $1 per poem to enter. You can enter as many poems as you want. You can enter just one poem if you'd like. Every single person will get a prize of some sort just for entering. That could be a physical book that's mailed to you. It could be an electronic service of interest to poets. It could be a PDF, an ebook copy of something, but just for entering, no matter what your placement in the contest is, you'll get a prize just for entering. And the deadline to enter is sometime in September. It's about 5 weeks away. So check that out. And then on top of which, if you happen to be one of the top three scoring poets in the contest, the winners of the contest, you will thus be one of the winners of the contest. You'll be announced as a winner, published. Your winning poem will be published, and all of the entry fees, 100% of the entry fees taken in, are divided up amongst the top three scoring poets. The first place winner gets 50% of the entry fees taken in. Second place gets 30%, third place gets 20%. So it's a win-win for everybody. So please consider entering. And it's three different judges who don't know each other, who read your poems blindly and send back the scores. They don't know what each other are scoring the poem. So we've got different sensibilities amongst them. So every poem kind of has a good chance to be read with three different sensibilities, three different sets of eyes. So there you go. That's what we're doing in Poetry Superhighway land. We're going to get to our open reading now. I've got the following people in this order signed up to read: Bhavin, Sheth, Isabell, VanMerlin, Lorraine, MacMillan, Jennifer, Phillips, Britt, Theurer, Climbing Sun, Elizabeth, Iannaci, and Charlie Brice. If anyone else is here who would like to read, just send me a message in the chat and I'll be happy to add you. If you're watching on YouTube, you need to join the Zoom in order to be able to participate in the open reading. Otherwise, we'll have no idea that you want to read because you're off there watching in a whole separate land, as it were. So join with Zoom and let me know that you would like to read. Everyone gets to read one poem, and then we will have a brief conversation about what's going on in your poetry world. If you want to tell us some news that you have, a new publication, anything that you are excited about, you can let us know about. And that's it. So one poem, a little conversation. That's how it works. If anyone would like to be added to the open reading list, let me know. So, having said all that, Isabell, you are on deck, and we will welcome our first reader, Bhavin Sheth. Hello, Bhavin.
All right. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you, Rick. This is a three-part poem called The Gastronomic Adventures of a Perpetually Hungry High Schooler. One, he says he was born with two phobias. The first one keeps looking at you until Wait, due today? No way. The other one sees who comes to steal what from his school lunch, veggies or bacon. The veggie thief always succeeds. The bacon thief never stops trying. Two, tilt my head just a little. The loogie flies way over there. Hmm. While eating, I felt it coming. Put my hand over my nose, and my two buds got up, walked away. The sneeze never arrived. They didn't come back. I'm not putting my hand up ever again. Three, after school, we went to a rally. They let me hang from the rafters, ring the rooftops with cries for freedom. Still ringing when I got home. Mom's hot chicken noodle soup she left on the table stops the ringing cold. Thank you.
Bhavin, that was great. Great way to start us off. The bacon thief never stops trying is a set of words that will stick with me throughout the day. Long live the bacon thief and their efforts. I hope they eventually achieve what they're going for. How are you? What's going on in your poetry world?
I'm just submitting poems and right now getting rejected. So I'm joining the rest of the crowd, I guess.
Very good.
Gotta get my I don't know, 1,000 rejections before an acceptance, I
Yeah,
guess.
I would be worried if you get too many acceptances, in a row. That feels like something would be awry and not normal at that point. So it sounds
Right.
like you're staying the course for poetry. So good. All right.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for that poem. Great way to start us off, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Bhavin Sheth. On deck, Lorraine MacMillan. Please welcome Isabell VanMerlin. Hello, Elizabeth. Or sorry, Isabell.
What is it about my name, Isabell, that if anybody calls me anything else, it's always Elizabeth? Very interesting. But that's an aside. This poem that I'm going to read is well, it's funny. It's a takeoff on an Edgar Allan Poe uh, poem. And anyway, you'll see. It's called Isabell, Me. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Isabell, me. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to see and hear the sea. For when she was born, only a child, in a small town far from the sea, she ever loved with a love that was more than love to be by the sea. This love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted was her love of the sea. For that very reason, not long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling and killing Isabell, me. And her high-born kinsman came, bore her away from the sea to shut her up in a sepulchre far from her beloved sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her love of the sea. Yes, that was the reason we surely know, and as surely can easily see, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing Isabell, me. But her love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who are older than she, of many far wiser than she. And neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever her soul from her love of the kingdom by the sea. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful kingdom by the sea. And the stars never rise, but I see with bright eyes my kingdom by the sea. And so all the night tide, I lie down on my side as a ghost, always watching the tide, escaping my sepulchre far from the sea, always seeing and loving the sounding sea.
What a beautiful, if not wet, poem for us, Isabella. Lovely imagery in there. We're going to end this early and all head to the ocean, I think, as inspired by your piece there. Um, what's going on in your poetry world?
Well, I'm sort of stuck here in Oroville, which is not very close to the sea. But so it has allowed me to finish writing and publishing just a few weeks ago my aunt's biography, who was a commercial photographer in New York in the 1930s. And she left her estate for me. And I've been working on it for at least the last 6 or 7 years. And as far as poetry, I haven't been writing a lot. You have published a couple of my haiku. I'm grateful to say I love getting the haiku. It really, it really brightens my day. Um, but a couple of months ago, I self-published a memoir called Memoir Ekphrastic, M.E. Um, and it's available on Amazon. But I got it in my head to try to think of a pseudonym. So I went to an anagram generator, and from the name Isabell VanMerlin, I came up with Abel Marlin Snivel, which I love sniveling. So my ME memoir, and it's got lots of pictures and lots of pictures, and it's kind of a epic poem kind of thing, is written by Abel Marlin Snivel and edited by Isabell VanMerlin. Oh, and I wanted to tell you guys that um, there's a few more days, another this week, I think. There's an open reading period at Tupelo Press, Tupelo, which is in Massachusetts. It's a free reading. You can send in, a chapbook, a full length, whatever. It's free. Um, it- I I recommend it. It's uh, anyway, they publish what they like. They might pick an individual poem to put on their website or whatever, but it's Tupelo Press. And again, it's in Massachusetts, not that that matters, but um, anyway, it's a good place for free to submit poetry if you want. So that's it for me.
Well, that's a good amount, Isabel. We might be referring to you as Van Snivel going forward. We'll see. Thank you
Okay,
so much for being here and all that information and for your lovely poem as well. Thanks for being here.
thank you. Thank you.
Round of applause for Isabell VanMerlin, if that is indeed her real name. On deck, Jennifer Phillips. Please welcome Lorraine MacMillan. Hello, Lorraine.
Hi, everybody. I've been house cleaning and I found an oldie but goodie. It's called I'm Blind. I'm blind to your color. I'm blind to your richness and the kind of car you drive. I see you and me, for our journey is to be free, free of heartless remarks and given sparks surround the ground we share. I'm blind, blind to hate, blind to pain, and I'm blind to the house that sits on the distant mountaintop. I'm blind and I'm open, and the sky above us all can break down any wall. I'm blind, I'm me, and yes, free. For the good in you, I choose to see.
Good. Well, let us know what you see next time, Lorraine. Thanks for bringing us that oldie but goodie. Anything going on in your poetry world you want to let us know about?
Yes, I have found a woman to put my poetry into music, and it's been sung at three different churches.
Wow, that's so cool. What a great experience to have art commingling like that and hear your words elevated with music. Very cool. Well, congrats on that.
So thank you.
Sure. All right. Thanks for being here, Lorraine. Round of applause for Lorraine MacMillan. On deck is Britt Theurer. Please welcome now Jennifer M. Phillips. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everybody. I would like to read a poem called The Spaces Between the Letters. The milkweeds splay their leaves gone gold like so many samurai striding across the field or standing squared against opponents. But there is only time coming on and the fraying wind, not enemies, but part of the great turning that claims us, that gives us our proper glory. The curve and line embrace indrawn breath, light on vellum, weightlessness on the page, the spaces between the letters, because the air itself is part of the speaking, the way love is part of self-restraint, part of our fences, the way silence impassions or calms our song. We ourselves, as we touch, scatter language along one another's skin, cuff and cudgel, caress and blessing, sharp cries of intersection, while the main of us remains breath and braille between, as yet unknown. The calligrapher rehearses every pen stroke. The scribe prays the inked quill into each crown. Our entreaties are folded into eternal attention. The spaces we leave when we love are eloquent with our songs of longing, with all we leave unsaid. Thank you.
Jennifer, that was a gorgeous poem. I love the line, "We ourselves as we touch scatter language along each other's skin." That was really amazing. Thank you for that. What's happening with you in poetry?
That one, I should tell you, was published in Chiron Review a while back. So I got a first place award from the Orchard Street Press contest. So that was exciting. And I'm working on getting another chapbook manuscript out and about and all set to go. And I'm working with the New England Poetry Club to put together a poetry live reading here in Barnstable, Mass, in November. So that's in the planning stages, thanks to David Miller, who is the organizer of events for the Poetry Club. So that's what I'm doing.
Cool. Well, that's quite a lot. Congrats on that win as well. That's always gratifying to achieve something like that. Well done. Good luck in putting together the local event, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Jennifer M. Phillips. Thank you, Jennifer. On deck is Climbing Sun. Please welcome Britton Theurer. Hello, Britton.
Hello. So this is my second time reading on the Poetry Superhighway opportunity here. I call this free play. Yeah, I just finished it last night. A red cape buffeted by October gusts, yet billeted to earthbound shoulders. A boy balancing precariously on the neighbor's fence, not like a cat. A boy who, just hours before, stood with sisters on a low divan. Watch, he says. He leans slightly forward, then floats like a cloud just above the carpet, lightly landing soundlessly just before the still dark picture window. He is on repeat, wide awake with butterflies tickling his ribs. Fence, living room, Brit, the same. Riding, guiding, inflecting, feeling two lived moments, a single wave of boundless flight in play.
That was a great piece, Britton. The line "not like a cat" is such a great way to not explain something, and sort of, sent me off on a whole, oh, I know what a cat's like, and this is not like that, which must mean this was like this. I mean, it was really cool. Well done.
Thank you.
What's happening with you in poetry?
Well, I, as I stated last time I was here, I'm fairly new at this, and so I try to do readings at open mics locally, and I try to give myself a practice trying to write as often as possible. I'm a composer of music, a musician. I practice every day, and so this is a new additional incentive for my creativity. The most recent thing I did, besides this poem I just read, was a one sentence story, and it had to be limited to 20, under 20 words, and it was really fun. So I just really enjoy this whole process.
That's great. Well, keep it up. It's fun and amazing to have the opportunity to spend so much time immersed in different creative activities. And glad you're back. And third time's a charm. I think once you come three times, you're officially a regular. So there you go.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Britton.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Britton. Theurer. On deck is Elizabeth Iannaci. Please welcome Climbing Sun. Hello, Climbing Sun.
Hi, Rick, thank you. And looks like everybody's tap dancing around bearing their souls, so I'm going to do the same thing. This poem is called Alone in Music. And it's the lead poem in my next book, which isn't published yet. Alone in Music. Shadows heave another night on their backs and trudge beside me along the same rut as I, with searchlight, lead party of one. Thickets outnumber my path, vanishing the tracks, and for most of the night, screeches from owls are the only clearings in my head. I scout for settlers who farm the unclimbable cliffs, raising just enough smoke to tempt me. I trail the blazers who patrol the unmappable outposts, stirring just enough warm ink to draw me. I welcome friends who remove their shoes and wade across those borders where flows and ebbs of forbidden flutes are the only guides into the interior. I accommodate the traders who stay on replenishing my nest, while I enter chambers in my chest where shackles are cracking, and there the winds, stiffened for so long upon the rack, are stretching themselves towards sun like beggars at prayer. Only then, upon altars in my bones, are placed colors and tones which must in turn entrance your forest with mosses and painted birds. Only then come hoofbeats and woodwinds which must enter your pulse, sea ships and tree lines which must rove inside you. Only then come mothers with Aprils around their waists and choir boys around their tables. Only then do I answer that calling cellar below my throat, and only upon those steps, after I choose to hermit, comes full hunger, easy humor, and every human height. Only when I am alone comes a harmony within a distant hymn, without singers, without words, a harmony within a hollow human hum.
Wow, Climbing Sun, thank you for bearing your soul to us, with us this afternoon. I know a little bit about what's going on in your poetry world because you happen to be one of the judges of the Poetry Superhighway contest. So I know that we're taking up a lot of your time every day. But perhaps you have other things that you would like to tell us about.
Well, yeah. Well, also on I guess on your website, I'm the featured whatever featured book at the bookstore, right? And
Yes.
it's this book here. It's my latest book. It's called Sun at Play. It's my second memoir because I didn't I had more living to do when I wrote it. So and anyway, I did two book signings and I never sold so many books in my life. I mean, they were really, really, it was great. Community came out and supported me, and my writers group was there and all that. So I am definitely one of the poets you mentioned with the tired eyes from going gaga over all the poems. But I just want to say there's so many wild thinkers that have submitted. I just love it. It's quite a treat to be able to score these poems. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for agreeing to do it. I know it's a lot of work, and may you get to the point where you have to write a third memoir. Uh, may that
Okay.
much more living come along, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate your regular participation in this event as well. And a round of applause for Climbing Sun. Thank you. Okay, on deck is Charlie Brice. Please welcome now Elizabeth Iannaci. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello. It's so great to be here. Sundays, I always seem to s- have something else scheduled, but today I was listening to, I attended a Zoom reading of Cecilia Wallach has a reading series. It's multinational, and she had Dina Metzger and Margot Berdyshevsky from Paris, and it was devastating poetry. It's like my heart was just ripped from me, and but it was like, oh, I need some more poetry today. And then I got your message, and it was like, yes, I can still do that. Usually I don't check my email until it's too late. This is hot off the presses. It's a pantoum, and Padraig Otuoma has an exercise for writing a pantoum, and he just says, write 8 delicious lines. So I hope these are delicious enough for a pantoum. Um, Outside, I live in Newbury Park, and to the west of me is a place called Boney Mountain. And at certain times of day, it looks like, it just looks unearthly. It's just absolutely beautiful. This is called Keeping Time Pantoum. Above and beyond the shadowed crags of Boney Mountain, a sky so blue I could sail a schooner from hill to horizon. Goosebumps as this bluesy hue weighs on houses, hillsides, the way the world grew fangs when my only child was born. A sky so blue we might sail a schooner from hill to horizon. Think of the shadows eyelashes cast upon a baby's cheek, and how the world grows fangs when a child is born. Imagine a cerulean egg of sky that opens to spill out the child's path, the delicate silhouettes eyelashes cast upon a baby's cheek, scattered puffs of shadow come and go and come and go again. Imagine a cerulean egg of sky that opens, spilling out a future, or how a heart keeps time as a poem is being read. Scattered puffs of white uncertainty come and go and come and go. Goosebumps as a bluesy hue changes houses, hillsides, the way our hearts keep time as this poem is read aloud, above and beyond the shadowed crags of Boney Mountain.
You still got it, Elizabeth. Wow, what a piece. The way the world grew fangs when my only child was born. That's a thing that any parent can probably has never thought of that phrase before, but immediately resonates how the world changes. Well done. 8 delicious lines indeed. I'm gonna have 3 of those for dinner, I think, and save the rest for a late night snack. I'm so glad you were able to complete all your dentist appointments to be here with us today. Is anything happening in your poetry world you want to tell us about?
Well, I'm so undisciplined. You know, when I've retired and I thought, oh, I'll have all kinds of time to write, but I used to write more when I would go to work and open my computer and I would start a poem, and by the end of the week I would have a poem. I have to really apply myself because it's so easy not to write. You know, and I'm not I know poets who say, or writers in general that say, I have to write every day, you know, at least in my journal. And I'm not like that. You know, it's discipline for me to write. And I've allowed myself to be undisciplined, but I think it's time for me to just start using my muscles in a better way. But yeah,
Use it or lose it, I think they say.
that's right. That's right. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember for a short time I had an office job and I would write, I would get all my work done very quickly and then, use the time to write poems. I think James Palacio, a poet who you and I both know, did the same thing and got called out by his bosses because they discovered poetry on the network. Um, can you imagine the horror? But good. Well, that was a great piece. So, looks like you're doing it, and appreciate you being here with us today. And it's nice to see you.
It's great to see everybody and to hear everybody's work. Thank you all.
Round of applause for Elizabeth Iannaci. Thank you for being here, Elizabeth. On deck is Randy Fowler. Please welcome Charlie Brice. Hello, Charlie.
Hi, Rick. It's nice to be back here. And well, you and Elizabeth, Einstein came up with the theory of relativity. He'd get his job done real quick, and then he spent the rest of the time doing physics. So, maybe you guys are onto something. Maybe I should get a job. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure glad that you mentioned that Climbing Sun is one of the judges, because I was going to read a poem I submitted to the contest. But so now I had a quick change. And so here it is. It's from my book, A Brief History of the 60s, which I just published in January. It's called Daydream. Lauren, my high school sweetheart, and I drive down Fifth Avenue in NYC, not in my mother's blue 1967 Cadillac, but in my polished silver caddy. This is after our group, the Kansas City Soul Association, makes it big, and I, their drummer, can afford such a ride. It's early evening and the street's wet from rain. The caddy's hood gleams sleek while we listen to Johnny Hodges blow Daydream, smooth as mist rising from asphalt. Lauren wears a sequined gown that shows off all her pleasure parts I wanted to touch in my basement in Cheyenne, but couldn't because of the massive force of the entire Catholic Church. In my daydream, it's blessedly possible. We drive toward dinner at some French restaurant where a different waiter brings each of our 5 courses. We take in a concert by Duke, Johnny's sax brilliant on the Harlem stage, finish up at my penthouse where the night's gyrations would exhaust Barnum and Bailey's highest flyers. 50 years later, it's pleasant to remember an adolescent daydream. Lauren and I drifted apart forever ago. These days, my wife and I order in, leery of another round of COVID. Most of our parts ache. We're creeping up to 80. Even so, Johnny's sweet horn and Billy's silky notes give us something to get cheek to cheek about, something to dream on days of wrinkled hope and scattered despair.
Oof. Wow, Charlie, that was great. A gown that shows off all her pleasure parts. I really enjoyed that line. And really nice job differentiating where you are now from where you were then. That was a cool piece. By the way, your poems have already been scored and back from the judges, so
Oh, okay. I could have read that
you
other
could
one.
have, but you made a good choice. By the way, please get a job. That's
Oh, you know, I had one for 35 years, but maybe it's time for another one.
maybe. What's going on in your poetry world that's preventing you from having a job?
Well, I just got my new manuscript, Silver and Lace with Eggs, accepted yesterday by Ridgeway Press. So it'll be coming out. It's my 11th book, and it'll be coming out, I think, we're hoping in February or March of 2027. So that's our news. And Judy, who is the lady on the first floor, I'm on the third floor. Judy wanted to be here, but she's not doing too well. So, but she wanted to let you all know that she would have loved to have come today. And anyway, so
Well, I'm glad the Brice household was represented at least a little bit with the lesser half. I mean, let's be
yeah,
real. You know,
realism is important. Yeah, and I'll check in with her down there in a week or two down on the first floor and let her know you said hi.
please do, and please wish from me and from all of us a complete and speedy healing, and hope
Well,
that she
thank you.
gets back to be 100% as soon as possible. And thank you, Charlie, for being here. Congrats on
Thank you.
your upcoming book publication.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
All right, round of applause for Charlie. Brice, we just have a few people left. There's also a couple people who are just here. No one has to read, but if you would like to read and you haven't signed up, now's your last chance to get added to the list. We have Randy, Rosemary, Lorraine, and me left otherwise. So Rosemary, you are on deck. Please welcome Randy Fowler. Hi, Randy.
Hi. So, need an explanation. A couple of weeks ago, the muse visited me with an idea for a poem, and I fought it for about half a day, but then I couldn't think of anything else. And I didn't want to write it quite in this way. So, just to let you know, it's kind of a poetic fiction. The central incident is not true. So, it's not true, but it allows me a device to say what I want to say, and you'll understand as I get going here. On breathing. Today, I lost a lung. My wife passed away. Every breath takes effort. What used to be natural requires thought. What used to be painless is a punch to the ribs. Each time I make a fool of myself, who will I call to share the tale, to hear that spontaneous burst of lyrical laughter that makes me howl all the harder? Will I ever again praise in poetry her pure blue eyes, like a calm mountain lake untouched by human hands, and extol the roller coaster curves of her body, seeing her shy embarrassment, yet watching her drink in my words? Will I ever again venerate in verse her wonder at children who can snap her head away from any adult conversation, and her way of crying with the hurting as if she shared each wound for a moment? Will I remember her art of listening, like Rembrandt with the paintbrush, her delight in someone's stories or humor, making them feel as if they were the most interesting person on the planet? Who will I simply share space with watching our favorite TV show, Everybody Loves Raymond, rooting for Deborah to catch Ray in his latest hijinks? And what of us playing Boggle, her singing around the house, and us praying together before I leave for work? Who will share my passion for our kids, their triumphs, their setbacks, for Kate's new boyfriend, for Ben moving back in with us? With us. Will I ever again inhale the joys of life? Thank you. And like I said, it's not true my wife passed away, but it's a device to compliment her on our 30th wedding anniversary this September 2nd.
Wow, congrats on that. That's a good chunk of time to be with someone. I hope it lasts another 30. And everyone keeps all their lungs in the meantime. Randy, thank you so much for being here. What's anything going on in your poetry world you want to tell us about?
Yeah, this summer I got two pieces published in Soul Forte, which is a faith-based magazine, and then Babylon Village Arts Council here on Long Island had a contest, and I was one of the finalists. So that's the top 12 in a poem that I read here actually a while back called Situational Lover, where I compared my ADHD to a situational lover. So.
Hmm. Cool. Well, sounds like you got a lot of good stuff going on there. I appreciate that you were here today and your patronage in general of Poetry Superhighway. Very much appreciated by me. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And thank you so much for being here. A round of applause for Randy Fowler. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Okay, Lorraine Caputo, you are on deck. Please welcome Rosemary Epaminondas.
No, Rosemary Boom. I think it's equally bad. Because of Epaminondas, I chose a different author name, which is my maiden name, and they seem to be equally difficult to pronounce. So anyway, I'm reading a poem that was recently published in a print journal, and it's called Boundless. I want to shrink until I fit inside the silence of a tree that whispers the language we forgot, keepers of the sacred beginnings we betrayed. I want to melt into the rock that covers its scalp with moss, lean against the megalith hewn by men whose intent was not religion, but spirit. Spirit they recognized in everything that is, a universal conscience of which they knew themselves to be a part, and, lacking words, honored the infinite with art. Let me slip in through the back door. Let me be rocked in the arms of kindness, the benevolence of stars that died billions of years ago, and whose light today reveals what they know about eternity. Thank you.
Wow, brief but epic, Rose. Thank you so much for that piece. What's happening with you in poems these days?
Well, just in June, my latest full-length manuscript, My Father's Sky, was published. I'll put a link into the chat, and I've just today sent off for a chapbook because I wrote 22 odes. I think I read one which was here, which was the ode to my bra, if you remember. And they're funny ones and they're serious ones. They're 22 odes. So maybe that gets accepted for publication.
I hope so. Yeah, good luck with all of that. And thank you so much for being here. However you pronounce your many names, we're delighted to have whoever shows up in your form. Thanks for being here, Rose.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Rosemary Bohm. I'll choose the easier to pronounce name to say farewell to Rose today. I'm on deck to close out the open reading. Let's welcome now Lorraine Caputo. Hello, Lorraine. Lorraine, we are not hearing you. Are you there? see that you've unmuted, but there's no sound coming. We'll tell you what, Lorraine, I will read my poem, and if you want to do the test audio button, under the audio menu, maybe you can figure out what the problem is, and I'll try you once again after I do my piece. So under the little audio menu at the bottom of the Zoom screen, it says test speaker and microphone. It might help you identify the problem. So we'll see if you can do that. So I will come back to you in just a minute. I'm going to read a poem from my new book. This just came out a couple of weeks ago. It's called Begin the Baguette. That's the name of the book. It's the first of 5 books culminating a 7-year project I've been writing, responding to lines of text in the weekly Torah portion stories that come along every week. This one that I'm going to read is responding to a line of text in the very first story in the book, the story of creation. This is the line it's responding to. But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it, for on the day that you eat thereof you shall surely die. That's the story, of course, of Adam and Eve being told they can't eat the apple in the Garden of Eden. This poem is called A Tale of Apples and Death. Knowing how much I know, I wonder how it is I am still alive. Fruit from the tree of knowledge is literally on my dinner plate every day. The original sin is that no one uses the word literally correctly. Further, I tempt the very life that was breathed into my nostrils weekdays at 1:00 p.m. by putting an apple on my lunch plate. I cut it around the core into 4 slices and then toss its heart into the disposal. Perhaps this is how I get away with it, as knowledge grinds away and the city takes care of it. Sometimes the apples are mushy and it's more of a death than lunch. That feels like an exaggeration, but considering what we all know and that no one has found the remains of the intersection of the rivers that flowed out of the garden, maybe all of this is suspect. I know as sure as bees live in the palm trees that surround my house that I will surely die. I hope it's not soon, but when it all comes down, let my epitaph read, he knew too much. There you go. That's poem number 2 in Begin the Baguette, which is available all the places you can get books online. You can get it from my website too, jewishpoetry.net, wherever you would like. So there you go. Let me see if we can get Lorraine back into the mix here. Lorraine, can we hear you yet? We cannot hear Lorraine. We're going to miss out on Lorraine this time. Sorry about that, Lorraine. But there you go. Okay, well, everyone, that is it for our reading today. I want to thank everyone for participating in the open. Bhavin, Isabell, Lorraine, Jennifer, Britton, Climbing Sun, Elizabeth, Iannaci, Charlie, Brice, Randy, Fowler, Rosemary, and me. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Our next open reading will, I think, be on Sunday, September 27th. I put that tentatively on my calendar, but I've got some new things going on Sundays starting in September, and I might have to switch that date depending on how all of that pans out. But for sure, all the info will be in the forthcoming Poetry Superhighway newsletters that come out. So there you go. Just as a reminder, this, we've got some new people here, and it's always an issue every month. Sometimes when folks join, we don't have our full names as our Zoom identity, and every Zoom reading, including this one, has experienced the Zoom bomber phenomenon, where people kind of log in because they find open Zoom links and just show up and then post all kinds of obscenities or start pornographic videos in screen share. And so that's why I have everyone RSVP in advance by email and ask that everyone make sure that their Zoom name is the name that they RSVP'd with, the full name. That way, when I see it, I'll let you right in through the waiting room. Otherwise, there's all kinds of annoying extra steps of me, like, trying to identify who you are, and it must seem like a suspicious interrogation. And my only hope is to prevent Zoom bombers. Just make sure we've got all the right people in. I'm thinking we're going to have a whole separate event just for Zoom bombers to let them come along and do whatever it is they like to do, because surely they deserve a voice, but not in this setting, I would say. So there you go. Thanks everyone for being here. A really great open reading. Don't forget to enter our poetry contest 4 weeks, 4 weeks and 6 days, something like that, left to do that. $1 per poem, and you're in. Everyone gets a prize just for entering, and that's it. I'm going to click on the Ask All to Unmute button in case everyone wants to say hi to each other before we call this a day.
Hello. I just wanted to say real quick, I had a job in a mailroom and my boss was a poet, so he did not mind me writing poetry. So that was a good click there.
I had a bunch of, actually, I had a manuscript that I still had all of the poems, but I had, I spent 6 months like tweaking and working on, and it was supposed to be saved to the U drive, and it wasn't, so I lost the entire thing. And that cured me from using the work computer.
Yes.
Yikes.
This just happened to a friend of mine, a poet friend, and she was hacked.
Oh,
And it's now about a month, and she can't get to her poems, and I think she fears she's lost most of them.
It's just awful.
Well, when I was training to be a psychoanalyst, one of my supervisors, I would make an interpretation, and I'd report that to the supervisor, and the supervisor would say, "Let the patient be the poet." So I quit psychoanalysis and became a poet.
You're a great patient.
Well,
I think it was Benjamin Franklin who first said, "Never save poems on the U drive."
I'm lucky. I'm careful. I have an external disk.
Yeah.
And that automatically is copying everything new I do. And with a bit of luck, it continues functioning. So that's all right.
At my last